It's time for Tennessee Prime, an inside, in-depth look at Tennessee football through the eyes of those that wear the orange and white. Fried up each week by Gus's world-famous fried chicken. Hosted by the sports animals Jason Swain and VolQuest Austin Price and Brent Hubbs. Welcome to Tennessee Prime.
Welcome into Tennessee Prime alongside Jason Swain. I'm Austin Price. Jason, Tennessee big 65-24 wins over UT Martin. It was early. It was often. There were lots of points, lots of touchdowns. Tennessee could have kind of walked into that game Saturday and kind of went through the motions. And, we've seen that in recent years. 24-0 over North Texas comes to mind. But they didn't do that. Program record 52 points in the first half. They put it on UT Martin from the jump, and they did take the pedal off in the second half, and coasted from there. But they did what they needed to do and get out, and that's a sign of a good football team.
Man, I almost fell asleep thinking about that North Texas game, 24-0. Boy, that was a snooze fest. But that was not the case this past weekend. Tennessee handled business there in the first half. Could have scored 100 if they wanted to, but this game was not that type of game. It was about taking care of business, continue to play at the level that you have played at the last couple of weeks, and then allow other players to get out there and play and get reps. And that's exactly what happened. It was perfect because you didn't have any injuries, and everyone was able to play. Now it's about getting back to SEC play and taking care of business against a team that you beat last year that don't like you, you don't like them. And it's going to be a physical football game. At home, night game, dark mode is activated. It's going to be fun. And the biggest thing about this turnaround, AP, has been not only the playmakers on the outside. We're seeing highlights from Jalen Hyatt, man, but the biggest improvement has been with the offensive line and defensive line, the trench play and dominating at the line of scrimmage. And I'm glad that we have two representatives from the trenches joining us tonight. But that's been the biggest improvement for this team, and that's why I think this team is a legitimate national championship contender, and why they are a top 5 team.
It's kind of like the seasons, and here in East Tennessee, we're just going to go from summer to winter or winter to summer. We just kind of skip over spring and fall a lot of times. It's kind of that way with this football team. We're just going to go from possible sanctions to the playoff. I mean, who saw this coming? I mean, by the way, we'll be joined coming up in segment 2 by J.J. Crawford on the offensive line, and then Dominic Bailey, the defensive lineman, who has really been playing solid football for Rodney Garner. So we'll talk to both those kids coming up about 7:12, 7:13. They'll join the show and be on with us for about 30 minutes or so. But Tennessee, a big one this week. Everybody wants to get pointed towards that matchup with Georgia, prime time on CBS, next week at 3:30. But you got to get past this one first. Jason, Tennessee is going to go into this game as basically a 2-touchdown favorite. And, I think if Tennessee plays its best, I'm not sure Kentucky can win the football game.
If Tennessee plays their best, Kentucky plays their best, Tennessee is going to win pretty comfortably. You look at both teams, and this is a bad matchup for Kentucky. They don't have the protection up front like they want to. They've been struggling in protecting Will Levis and protecting the quarterback in general. They do have some guys on the outside, man, that's explosive, some young guys that could give Tennessee some problems. Will Levis had his best game of the year versus Tennessee before he had a really good game against Louisville. So we know he's capable. He's a fantastic player, has all the tools to beat you with his legs, to beat you with his arm. Will we see it? I don't know. We haven't seen much of it this year, but we did see it last year up there in Lexington. But Tennessee, man, they just don't punt. So can Kentucky keep up with Tennessee offensively? They're not built to do that. Kentucky's defense, they'll be sound. They'll probably be the best that Tennessee has faced outside of Alabama up to this point. But I just don't see how Tennessee is going to lose this game if they come out and play the way they have been from basically the Florida game on. I just don't see how Kentucky will be able to match up offensively. So it's going to be a fun atmosphere for sure. I mean, it's a night game, and man, the alternate uniforms released, so everyone's fired up about that. I know our players are fired up about it, and that's all that matters, man. They're going to be ready to go.
Yeah, the black helmets introduced for the first time. I know that's an exciting thing for the young kids. Some of the elder statesmen that have been around the program may not be for them, but hey, it's about the kids that play, and they're going to enjoy doing it. And again, you wore orange and white for Alabama. It's not like you broke up the alternates for Alabama or Florida. You're breaking them out for Kentucky, and it's right around Halloween. You can justify this, in 6 days and 7 nights. For me, like I think for Kentucky to have a chance in this football game, they've got 1, ball control at 2, Tennessee's got to turn the ball over, and 3, they've got to hit some big plays in special teams with Barryon Brown. Like I think that's their path to victory, in my opinion.
Yep.
They're definitely going to try to ball control it. Can Tennessee get out to a quick start? Let's say Tennessee gets out to the quick start like they did against Alabama, and it's 28-10. At that point, I think Kentucky would have to alter who they are.
Yeah.
And that's a win for Tennessee. Like what you don't want is, this kind of ground and pound, taking possessions away, milking the, play clock down to 1 and 2 before they snap it. And, that's what you want to try to avoid. So can Tennessee continue to get off to a hot start? I think that's the biggest key. Again, I think if Tennessee doesn't turn the football over and doesn't allow a big play or 2 on special teams, I think that they'll be just fine come Saturday night, and everybody then will be able to turn their attentions to the Georgia Bulldogs. Either way, Tennessee's going to go to Athens playing for first place in the East, and that's all you can ask for going to November.
Yeah, do not kick the ball to Barryon Brown. Just don't even give them that opportunity. He's probably the best return guy in the league, even as a freshman, outside of my man Jahmyr Gibbs over there at Alabama. So don't even give him an opportunity. Force Kentucky to drive the length of the football field, even if it starts at the 35-yard line. Tennessee has done a great job at stopping the run this season. And we talked about the offensive line play, and people have pointed at the weaknesses there with the defense and the secondary. But one thing that Tennessee has been able to do a very good job of is stopping the run. Tennessee won the rushing matchup against Alabama. When's the last time we've said that? So Tennessee stopped the run against LSU, stopped the run against Alabama, and Chris Rodriguez, Kentucky's running back, he's a lot fresher than normal running backs at this point in the season because he didn't play a couple of games early. And he's a load. He is not stopping his legs. He is fighting for every yard. So you better game tackle. You better make sure that no one is punching at the ball without securing the tackle. He is a grown man. Simple as that. So be ready for a physical running back coming at you for 60 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Rodriguez is a load. And, Tennessee will unveil the black uniforms, the black helmet. All shiny. Look at that. I mean, Swain, here you go. I mean, that's even your number, Swain. So does this kind of how did they not get you to go model? It's my question.
Well, I mean, no, they used Chris Walker last year. It's probably good because Chris Walker still looks like he could play. The Smoky Grays was modeled. That was a funny way that was modeled. I won't touch on that anymore. But you got to make sure someone looks good modeling that thing, man.
Well, and what happened? The easiest thing to do there is by the time the Grays got in, they were on the bye week.
Yeah,
and everybody was gone,
and
there was nobody around.
Yeah.
So.
Like,
it is what it is. It is what it is. But I mean, like, there was a reason for that. I mean, I can understand.
Yeah, I can too. But you got Trayvon Flowers with that one, looking so clean. I said that to some of my teammates, man. They so jealous. They wish that we did the same thing. But hey, we happy for our little brothers being able to wear these uniforms on Saturday night.
Yeah, they've been breaking those helmets in since practice last week. Everybody kept saying, "What?" Like I had people tweet, "Did you spoil the uniform combination?" And I'm like, "No," because how many? I looked on my Facebook, and this person was at practice and had their picture made with the player holding the black helmet, and this person it was on Twitter. I mean, like trying to keep it a secret. It's almost like, I'm very respectful of trying to let everybody have their moment, but at some point in time, you just can't. I mean, like on Friday, I did Outkick and they brought up the black jerseys, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, come on, man. Like, it's all over Twitter. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
roll with it.
yeah. It's out there, man. It's out there. But hey, as long as the players excited, as long as we go out there and handle business, man. No one should really have a problem.
Yeah, again, this is a big game for Tennessee, another stepping stone game. To potentially go down to Athens 8-0, playing a Georgia team that is undefeated, would be ranked number 1 in the country. And realistically, right, if Tennessee goes down and wins in between the hedges, they're going to number 1. They'll jump Ohio State because of the the path to get to that point. So really you're playing for number 1. If you can somehow win this week. And again, Tennessee's won 37 of the last 40 or whatever it is in this series. I mean, this is a game that they've routinely come out on top. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll be joined by a couple of Vols. We're joined by J.J. Crawford, and we'll be joined by Dominic Bailey. Next on Tennessee Prime, sponsored and powered and fried up each week by our good friends at Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken on Sutherland Avenue. He's Jason Swain. I'm Austin Price. We'll be right back.
Bite into that crispy crust with just the right amount of spicy, and you're going to taste the tender, juicy, succulent chicken that is Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken. A timeless Southern tradition that started over 60 years ago in Mason, Tennessee with a secret family recipe. Gus's has stood the test of time and spread throughout the world. It's not just famous, it's world famous fried chicken at Gus's.
The game has changed and Spire Sports is here. With name, image, and likeness arriving, your Orange fandom can now be put into action. Visit thevolunteerclub.com and become a member. 90% of every dollar generated through the Volunteer Club, powered by Spire, will go directly to athletes to improve the student-athlete experience at Tennessee. It's not just about winning the next game. It's about next season. It's about the next generation. It's about the Tennessee legacy. Join at thevolunteerclub.com. That's thevolunteerclub.com.
VolQuest.com has been the gold standard for Tennessee football coverage for over 20 years, led by an experienced staff with over 600 games covered amongst them.
Speed, and then some more speed.
VolQuest takes you behind the scenes with features on coaches and players. For only $9.95 per month, find out why VolQuest continues to set that standard. Locally owned, Gus's is located on Sutherland Avenue and has been voted the best fried chicken in every city they've ever gone to. Throw in some delicious and mouth-watering sides, and it's easy to see why Gus's is a must-have at your dinner table. It's not just famous, it's world-famous fried chicken at Gus's.
And welcome back to Tennessee Prime, powered up each week by Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken on Sutherland Avenue. If you've not been by, go out and check out Gus's. Alongside Jason Swain, I'm Austin Price. And let's bring into the show at this time Tennessee defensive lineman Dominic Bailey, Tennessee offensive lineman J.J. Crawford. And guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. JJ, we'll start with you. You've really been coming on the last few weeks. Started down at LSU. You had a great game. down there on the Bayou. Followed that up with more solid play last week. Just kind of take me kind of through your mindset. How do you feel like you've been doing, and kind of where have you seen your game grow?
I would say kind of my mindset through that was just coach coming, talking to me, kind of letting me know how things are going to be. And my mindset is I was always ready. I was kind of just getting back from some rehab, some body stuff, getting my body right. So being there at LSU, I'd say it was a good little like breakout game for me to have to get some experience under my belt other than Ball State, because I wasn't able to play outside of Ball State or after Ball State for a few games. And so I just continued my game growing in my pass pro and my run blocking. And I could go against Dom every day, so like iron sharpened iron. So that's what I would say.
Competition makes us better, right? How do you feel like you have improved with your competition there at left tackle throughout fall camp?
I would just say going out every day, having to prove yourself, and you really can't afford to have like bad days in practice because there's always one person behind you that could be like there's one snap away really, and that's you kind of got to see like how that played out with me in my position. But there's always just somebody that's one snap away that can come in and pick up the slack, you could say.
Dom, when you look at kind of where you were a year ago, as a red shirt, and then where you are now, you kind of just you're kind of the embodiment of this current team. Y'all kind of set goals back at in the wintertime, went to work. Same thing for you individually. You've just kind of steadily been improving, growing. Coach Garner continues to brag on you, and let's face it, G don't throw out a whole lot of compliments, so that's really a good thing, right? So where have you seen your game get better? Because again, a year ago you were nowhere to be found. All of a sudden this year, there you are out there making plays.
I just tried to focus on the little things. Like whatever Coach G told me to do, I tried to do it like as hard as I could, as fast as I could, just to make sure I got it done. And I just try to make it easier for everybody else that plays on the D line with me. I try to do my job so everybody else's job is easier. That's it.
Byron Young, we've had him on the program. We've talked to Mark Thomas, and talking to those two guys, I asked them about someone else that they see stepping up and making big plays, someone that maybe didn't do it the year before, and they both mentioned you at separate occasions. When you hear that from two guys that will be playing on Sundays, how does that make you feel, man?
I mean, it's love. Like, those are my boys, so I really just put it all out there for them, grind for them. We grind for each other because we ain't nothing without each other. So every day we just go into practice with the mindset of everybody getting better. And that's what's happening. Everybody's getting better every day. Everybody's playing better every day.
Dom, you were committed to the old staff. One of the few guys in your signing class that stuck around or it's still here. But you come from St. Francis, very much a well-respected national power at the high school ranks. And then JJ, you come from JUCO. So those are kind of two ends of the spectrum. What did you know about Tennessee before you got here? And then maybe, what have you learned to appreciate about Tennessee now?
You want to go, Dom?
Nah, go ahead. You go.
For me, I would say just like something, I was getting recruited by the UC when their coaching staff was at UCF. So I kind of got to talk to Coach Hype and Coach Ellerby. But I didn't know too much about Tennessee before I got here. I mean, being at JUCO, you always want to kind of attract some of the bigger name schools. And then once Ellerby had reached out to me once he got here, it was kind of like a no-brainer. I already had a pretty close relationship with that staff. And this is one of those leagues you can go and play in and kind of test yourself. Well, it was a huge blessing to get here, for real. I thank God for that every day.
I mean, before I came, you hear the usual, like, Tennessee used to be this, Tennessee used to be that. So my decision on coming here was I just want to get Tennessee back to where it was before I came here. That's what we're doing now. So I'm just happy about it. Because my brother's like one of the biggest Peyton Manning fans. So all I heard about was Peyton Manning my whole life. So when we came here, I just knew, like, all right, I want to be at Tennessee.
then the next thing you know, you're getting to smoke cigars with him in the locker room.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you fire off a picture to your brother?
Yeah, I did. That's the first thing I did.
Jeremiah, man, one of the things I miss about playing is, man, those police escorts, man. And you say you came from JUCO to Tennessee. What's the I guess the most alarming, the biggest change for you going from JUCO to going to Tennessee and getting some of those VIP treatments here, the SEC program? What's the biggest one that stands out for you?
I remember when I first got up here on my first day of campus, and I was just seeing everything. I was so shooken. It's nothing compared to JUCO. I had maybe I don't know, 20 yards. It was how long our weight room was, and it was real slim and not big at all. But I don't know. I'd say the stadium, being at game days, obviously. There's maybe 200 people at my JUCO games. I'm coming here to 100,000. I remember running out our first game. I'll never forget it. It was crazy to me. I couldn't believe I made
it. Did you have to do your own laundry at JUCO, or because here, man, they do your laundry every single day, man. They take care of you.
It was we had little loops, but it wasn't nothing come to this extent, really.
Yeah.
Trying to get you ready for this level, but it is JUCO. You don't have all the resources and staff, but they did their best. They got me ready for here, so. All love to them boys out in El Dorado.
Dom, how much have you learned from Coach Garner? I know you said earlier you kind of soak up, everything he's teaching. But when he got here, how much did you know him through the recruiting process? And then when he got here, how quickly did you kind of have to learn his mannerisms, how he maneuvers and coaches?
Yeah, I didn't get recruited too much by him when he was at Auburn, but when he got here, it was kind of all right, you got to adjust to this because, his coaching style is different from other people's coaching style. He going to dig into you, but it's just he just wants the best out of you. So you just got to block out how he's saying it and just listen to what he's saying and just take it in.
Did you adjust to him first day, or was it a process?
No, it was a process. It took a while. It took a while.
How long did it take you for it, really click? Okay. This guy is helping me become a better player. Let me stop, worrying about, what doesn't matter, and let me worry about what does matter. That's him improving my game. How long did it take?
Probably the first fall camp was into, probably 2 weeks into it. I'm okay, he know what he's talking about, so I might as well listen and just take it in.
Yeah. He's always in there dropping those anecdotes, when he's in there meeting with the media. What's your favorite kind of Coach Garner-ism? Saying, phrase.
What you mean by that?
He's in there talking the other day about, defensive linemen are like planes. You can't let them run out of gas when they're in the middle of the game or in the middle of a flight, right?
Yeah,
or you're done. So, what kind of, little anecdotes does he drop on you guys?
Let me see. Let me think. That's hard because he says so many things. It's something different every day. So what's something that he'll say?
What's he saying right there?
He'll say something your body is like a Mercedes, and you don't want to put no bad gas in the Mercedes. So basically, what he's saying is you want to be in the training room all the time, doing what you need to do to keep your body running how it's supposed to be.
100%. All right, let's stop playing around here. I don't know what took so long to bring this up, AP. Let's get to JJ Crawford. Man, you threw up during the game, man, and you looked at the Alabama player and told him that you was coming for him. Yeah. What was his reaction, and what was going on, man? Did you have too much, Gatorade? What caused that? Do you think?
I know what caused that. Of course, Gatorade and water throughout the game. They got those little cold brew shots in the locker room. That.
Yeah.
I took a quick one, get myself a little ready to go for halftime. I guess it didn't agree with my stomach too much, but you saw the video. 47. He looked at me. He was like, "You seen him pop his head up real quick?" He was like, "What the heck?" He told me that I was gross, and then I remember the end over here to my left. He's like, "Don't touch me, bro." And I remember I gap hinge on that play. and he kind of like backed up away from me. We went away from me, so that was pretty funny. Well, I don't know.
You should do it again this week.
Yeah, next play mentality. I ain't heard the last of that.
My favorite part was the whole like nodding your head deal.
Yeah.
Letting them know we ain't going nowhere. We ain't done yet.
All right.
Cooper said he's watching you the whole time. He's just looking at you the whole time. He was laughing. He loves it. He said he loved it.
Yeah, Cooper loves that type of stuff. I always see him in practice. I guess
he always throws up in practice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. One thing you get me on camera is but I see Cooper. He's over there throwing up. He'll be right back in it next play. Dom's seen it too. It's just something about football, man. I think it got caught in a highlight this one time for everybody to see.
That'll probably live in infamy. It'll be a GIF, a meme, whatever you want it to be. I mean, it'll be people will be using that forever. You'll be retired somewhere, and they'll still be using that one.
I hope so. That'd be funny to see.
All right, so let's flip it to the jerseys. You guys have known you're wearing black for a while. You started breaking into helmets last week. How excited are you guys? I mean, you wore black last year, but to incorporate the black helmet, how much better does that make it?
I think whenever, like last year, I remember when we wore black, all the guys were talking about, I wish we had the helmets to go with it. I wish it would have looked better with this. So, I mean, I'm trying to get the helmets. I'm ready. I'll really go out there and play whatever. I don't care. So,
I think it's more.
Put on, I guess.
I think it's more of like when you put on a different color uniform, you have to win. Like you can't go out there and not win, so you got to go out there and play hard. That's really all it is. That's really.
How do the big boys make the alternate uniforms look good, man? What are you guys planning on doing to show that swag, man? This picture right here, this is Flowers. He a little guy. What's y'all's plan?
They don't got all the extra meat and stuff. I don't know. Throw a few on there some sleeves.
I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. That's a game day decision. I'll figure it out game day.
Okay.
Out on Saturday.
Did y'all rock the blue Saturday or no? Not everybody rocked the blue.
I had a sleeve on, some bands. That's it.
I had a few bands.
Now, coming up in the next segment, we'll let the fans interact with you guys and ask you guys questions. Before we get to that point, best part of this season individually. I mean, I know as a team, it's Alabama and the celebration and the cigars and all that, but individually for each of you, what's been the best moment for you? Start with you, JJ.
I would say, other than being with my brothers after the Bama game and just being able to experience that. I remember thinking like that's something that, like my boy, I was sitting next to JC Coop on the line. I was just thinking, like looking down there, like this is something they deserve. Like we put in too much work for this, like for them not to earn this. Like we earned this. But other than that, I would say having my family be around and kind of being able to see my journey from JUCO to here, kind of just see how things changed for me, and then being able to be there and still see it and experience it all with me. So that's what I would say.
Tom?
Just really my family to see me back on the field playing again. So that's really all it is. I'm just happy to be back playing. Sitting on the sideline wasn't fun. So, yeah.
No, it's not. It's never fun to watch. And you guys are back a part of it on the field. Let's take our second break. We'll come back. We'll get interactive. We'll take questions from the comment box. He's Jason Swain. I'm Austin Price. And those guys are two. Well, I don't want to call you big uglies because that ain't fair. Big boys in the trenches. Trenches. We'll be right back on Tennessee Prime.
Bite into that crispy crust with just the right amount of spicy, and you're going to taste the tender, juicy, succulent chicken that is Gus's world-famous fried chicken. A timeless Southern tradition that started over 60 years ago in Mason, Tennessee with a secret family recipe. Gus's has stood the test of time and spread throughout the world. It's not just famous, it's world-famous fried chicken at Gus's.
The game has changed and Spire Sports is here. With name, image, and likeness arriving, your Orange fandom can now be put into action. Visit thevolunteerclub.com and become a member. 90% of every dollar generated through the Volunteer Club, powered by Spire, will go directly to athletes to improve the student-athlete experience at Tennessee. It's not just about winning the next game. It's about next season. It's about the next generation. It's about the Tennessee legacy. Join at thevolunteerclub.com. That's thevolunteerclub.com.
VolQuest.com has been the gold standard for Tennessee football coverage for over 20 years, led by an experienced staff with over 600 games covered amongst them.
Speed, and then some more speed.
VolQuest takes you behind the scenes with features on coaches and players. For only $9.95 per month, find out why VolQuest continues to set that standard. Locally owned, Gus's is located on Sutherland Avenue and has been voted the best fried chicken in every city they've ever gone to. Throw in some delicious and mouth-watering sides, and it's easy to see why Gus's is a must-have at your dinner table. It's not just famous, it's world-famous fried chicken at Gus's.
Welcome back into Tennessee Prime, fried up each week by our good friends at Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken on Sutherland Avenue. You're listening on 99.1 The Sports Animal and on the VolQuest YouTube channel. Jason, when you look at this game coming up on Saturday, and make sure you get your questions in for the guys. We'll start with this though. When you look at this game on Saturday, line play on both sides is going to be big. The ability to run the ball against a pretty good, formidable Kentucky front, and then stop the run against, a Kentucky offensive line that is not what they were the last couple of years, but run blocking with Rodriguez still formidable.
Yeah, man, you know how every SEC game really comes down to the trenches, period, point blank. And then you want to have your explosive plays. But, Kentucky's done a good job with Stoops over the last couple of years is really establishing the trench play, and he's done a good job developing players to the next level. Did you mention it? I mean, the offensive line is not as good as they have been, but you know what they want to do. They want to eat up that clock, and they feel like they can be physical with Tennessee. Chris Rodriguez is physical. Now it's up to us to match that physicality. I think we will, especially with my man Dom Bailey, who's in there getting reps and making plays. Ain't that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dominic, this comes from Wayne Starnes. What part of home game days have you enjoyed the most at Tennessee?
Probably the ball walk, just seeing all the fans. It gets you ready to go, because they pumped up to see you play, so you got to go out there and perform. So, yeah. Are
you someone that goes through and high five everyone, or you try to stay locked in and focused? What's your approach?
Depending on the day, how I'm feeling that day. Yeah.
What about the Florida game? How'd you feel that day?
I high-fived everybody. I was ready to go that game.
So you like the ball walk. JJ, you said earlier you really like the running through the tee. Is that kind of are you back to ball walk too?
I like ball walk. I like running through the tee. I like it really. something I never got to experience before. So with ball walk, it's like I'll be high fiving the fans, and then once I get like to the locker room entrance, put my earbuds in, and that's when I start to lock in, put on my music, say hi to the family, say hi to all the little kids. I usually give my little lanyard to one of the little kids. But just interacting with the fans, getting to see like everybody that came out to watch us play, it's crazy. Still blows my mind.
Diablo Customs were a really good question here. Says, how fun is it to play in such an aggressive defensive front, always pushing upfield, not just gap containment? The question is for you, Don.
It makes it real fun because, when you playing in the defense where you just gotta sit there and stalemate the lineman, try to let a linebacker make the play, that's really get boring after a while. But with Coach Gardner and Coach Banks, they want us to be aggressive, get knocked back, make a play. So it makes things easier for real because it's less thinking. You just knock somebody back and make a play. That's all it is. So yeah.
Ricky Fitzgerald says, what do you guys, we'll do this for you, JJ, what do you guys do in pregame for good luck? Any superstitions, any routines?
I would say I have one routine. Me and Mincy usually would go walk around the field one time before we go out to do our online individual warm-up stretch stuff. But nothing, I don't really have too many superstitions. Put my music in, log in, get ready, walk that lap.
What is it, the same music every week or different?
It kind of just depends on what I'm feeling. And then I'll throw on some like NBA Youngboy or some either crazier stuff.
My favorite is when you boys go walking through the complex. And Crawford, I've seen you do this, but a few of them do. They'll like go through it like their phone blaring music, just openly out loud, like not even headphones, like it's like in their pocket. And they're just walking. They get like their soundtrack walking to class.
Like we want everybody to listen to it.
JJ comes rolling through there on his scooter every day, with that hair flowing into the wind. Yeah. Next question, for Dom. Is game day a break from practice and Coach Garner?
Yeah, because he says practice is supposed to be harder than game day. So game day, you're just out there having fun for real. It's all fun and games then.
Let's see here. All right, so JJ, Chris wants to know, did you show him how nasty you could be after he called you nasty? Because we did hear the Alabama player back in their press conference when they were back in Tuscaloosa, and he said that he just called you nasty.
Yeah. Well, no. You gotta be smart with what you say. It's not when you're talking in the press conferences, but yeah, that way, me and him were going at it all game. I never spoke to him. I never heard much about him before, but I always like getting into it with the D linemen. That's one thing about being in the trenches. It gets nasty, it gets dirty, throwing up, everything.
So you boys are way too young for this, but back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a wrestler called the Great Muta, and he would always spit the green mist into his opponent's eyes at some point in the match. That needs to be your thing, Crawford. You just, you throw up, not throw up on somebody. You just throw up every time.
I've seen a lot of like the Little Giants, I think it is, the references where they put the tablets in their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
There's my sedation. A lot of that, a lot of references.
Zach Cherry says, this question is for both of you guys. Who are some young guys in your position groups not getting a lot of playing time now, but you see them making an impact in the near future?
I would say for tackles, we got a lot of good young guys, I think, and they're all going to make some impacts in the future. You guys will see that, but BG, Connor, you got those guys. I see them putting in work every day and getting into the facility, getting extra work in when they can, and really studying and locking into their craft. Make sure learning from the older guys. We also have, they're not too much younger guys, but RJ and Griff. their time's coming up, they'll be able to do some great things. I already know that, but just learning from some of the older guys and focusing up. I think those guys do great at that.
For me, it's Tyree, James Pierce, and Josh. They young, but they all can ball. So you're gonna see a lot of them in the near future, probably.
Do you ever look at some of the younger guys that aren't playing? You know, like Phillips or Jason Jenkins, and even though you're only a year older than them, go, hey, I was where you were a year ago. You just got to keep your head down.
Yeah, that's why I tell them all the time. It's not. You can't take nothing personal. It's all a business. So you just got to keep your head down and keep working, and your time going to come sooner or later as long as you just keep your head down and work.
On a scale from 0 to 100, how much is being successful at this level mental for you guys?
I would say success is 100% mental. I mean, you got to be locked in every day. When you come to practice, you can't. And in the weight room, meeting room, anywhere, you got to be 100% mentally locked in. Because at this level, you can't really afford to make little mistakes. Like, that'll get your quarterback hurt, running back, anybody. Like, it's a mental game for real.
JJ, you a big fan of Coach Ellerby's Santa Claus beard he's got rolling? He's got the thing wider and wider.
I know. It's just like ever since the beginning of the season, it just keeps getting bigger. But I like it. The man roll with how he likes it, I guess.
You had Halloween earlier this week with all the kids in the complex over there trick-or-treating, and we get to the Christmas time, he'll have all the kids sitting on his lap. We had a question earlier, I think it was Wayne asked. It was for JJ in reference to Sprags and his stuffed animal collection, as he called himself, the zookeeper. You're kind of a lighthearted guy, always kind of keep it, smiling and cutting up. Sprague's kind of the same way from a standpoint of like he doesn't take everything too serious. He's got the stuffed animals after every game. What do you guys think about that? That's for both of you, really.
I think it's hilarious. I mean, I remember seeing the gator and the thing. I was thinking about going grabbing that too after that before the game. But Sprague's, he's definitely the type of guy I would expect to go grab some animals out there every game, call himself the zookeeper, because he's a funny dude. And he's one of those guys that when it's time to work and put in the business, he's going to do that. And it's no jokes from there on out. You won't see him crack a joke or smile. But when it's lighthearted, fun time, like you do there, he knows when to have fun. He knows how to joke around. So that's what I like about Sprags. He knows when it's business time to play.
My favorite was the tiger at LSU, Jason. He had it in his mouth.
I don't even want to know if he has one for this week. I don't even want to ask if any of the guys have seen it yet.
We'll see. I'm sure there is somewhere.
We'll see.
Yeah. John Abbott asked you guys, who's been the biggest challenge during practice for you one-on-one? So question for both of you guys.
The biggest challenge, probably JJ and Darnell and Mincy, for real. They all bang. They give you a good run for your money. So you got it. I mean, that just gets you better at the end of the day, though. So it's just all work.
I would say like Dom, any of those guys that'll give you a good look off the edge, like BY, Tyler Barron. Man, I would say Dom and BY are my two that I really like to go against. They give me the best looks. Had a good set against BY today. BY, them boys always, I don't really know. Whoever you're against, they're going to give you a good look. That's what I like about this D-line. They're always going to give you some type of look, and it's always going to be good. So
Darnell's got all those nicknames: Fat Patty, Dirty Sprite, all that stuff. What do y'all call him? What do y'all roll with? Which one?
I just call him Darnell, man. It's Darnell.
I just say no. I hear people say D Sprite, D. Everything.
Dirty Sprite's the best. I don't care. That's outstanding. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you joining us tonight. We'll let you guys get back to game planning, getting ready for Kentucky on Saturday. Good luck. Enjoy the black jerseys. Although, Jason, it sounds like that they're being the linemen that they are, that they'll just wear whatever they put in the locker. Whatever Hawk puts in the locker, they'll wear, and not as important to them as those skill guys like yourself.
Exactly.
That's right. They'll have the sleeves, maybe an armband, make it look fresh, make it look clean. But I know what the big guys all about. It's about banging in them trenches. So y'all keep doing what y'all been doing all season long, man. Y'all been the difference. Continue it, man. Have fun. We proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
That's JJ Crawford and Don Bailey. This is Tennessee Prime, Friday up each week by Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken on Sutherland Avenue. If you've not been by lately, head out there. It's a great place to get some tailgate food, a great place to take your family throughout the week. Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken. He's Jason Swain. I'm Austin Price. We'll be right back.
Bite into that crispy crust with just the right amount of spicy, and you're going to taste the tender, juicy, succulent chicken that is Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken. A timeless Southern tradition that started over 60 years ago in Mason, Tennessee with a secret family recipe. Gus's has stood the test of time and spread throughout the world. It's not just famous, it's world famous fried chicken at Gus's.
The game has changed and Spire Sports is here. With name, image, and likeness arriving, your Orange fandom can now be put into action. Visit thevolunteerclub.com and become a member. 90% of every dollar generated through the Volunteer Club, powered by Spire, will go directly to athletes to improve the student-athlete experience at Tennessee. It's not just about winning the next game. It's about next season. It's about the next generation. It's about the Tennessee legacy. Join at thevolunteerclub.com. That's thevolunteerclub.com.
VolQuest.com has been the gold standard for Tennessee football coverage for over 20 years, led by an experienced staff with over 600 games covered amongst them.
Speed, and then some more speed.
VolQuest takes you behind the scenes with features on coaches and players. For only $9.95 per month, find out why VolQuest continues to set that standard. Locally owned, Gus's is located on Sutherland Avenue and has been voted the best fried chicken in every city they've ever gone to. Throw in some delicious and mouth-watering sides, and it's easy to see why Gus's is a must-have at your dinner table. It's not just famous, it's world-famous fried chicken at Gus's.
And welcome back to Tennessee Prime. Tennessee 7-0, hosting 5-2 Kentucky. Kentucky coming off a bye week. Their most recent game was 2 weeks ago, a win over Mississippi State. That was at home, Jason, after a couple of losses in a row for the Cats. So they were able to kind of find their footing against the Bulldogs. Saw a lot of Kentucky people kind of breaking down the game, talking about how Kentucky shut down Mississippi State's passing attack. Mississippi State's passing attack, far different than Tennessee's. Mississippi State just kind of dinks and dunks. Tennessee likes to take it vertical.
Yeah, for sure. And they like to throw swing passes to their running backs on the outside. That's an extension of their running game. Tennessee's running game is the running game. I mean, they run right between the tackles and they also throw the quick screen out to the wide receivers. But yeah, don't think that Mississippi State's passing attack has prepped you for Tennessee, because it's totally different. The personnel is different, and you have two players on offense that is in the Heisman conversation right now, Jalen Hyatt and Hendon Hooker. So it's gonna be a little bit different, Kentucky Wildcats, but Stoops and his staff, they've done a good job. I'm pretty sure they'll prepare those guys as much as they can. I look at it like this: if this offense has Saban stumped, I mean, what defense coordinator is going to be able to prepare for this offense if Nick Saban can't? So a lot of momentum going into this game. Still got to go out there and execute. Got to take care of the ball, something that Tennessee has done a fine job of doing. Can't put the ball on the ground, and you can't get beaten on special teams. If you do that, Tennessee is in a good position going into the Georgia game.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I think if Tennessee plays their best game, Kentucky can't beat them, no matter how well they play. I just think that Tennessee is playing too well, averaging over 50 points a game. Just ridiculous how they're clicking offensively, and it doesn't matter who they're playing against. They're clicking against everybody. And again, Cedric Tillman, believe he will play. He practiced earlier today, trending in the right direction. He hopes to have him out on the field sooner rather than later, and that starts this weekend against the Wildcats in what is a big 5-week close to the season. Kentucky, followed by Georgia, followed by the home finale against Missouri, and then 2 road games to close at South Carolina and at Vanderbilt.
Man, the crowd was electric for Alabama. We know a lot of reasons why. Biggest rivalry, Tennessee playing the way they're playing. But think about all those people that wanted to go to the Alabama game that probably couldn't get a ticket because they cost a lot. These tickets may be a little bit cheaper, and they don't want to miss the opportunity to see these guys in person, especially wearing new alternate uniform. The place is going to be on fire this weekend, AP, and the crowd noise certainly played a part in the game versus Alabama. Had many pre-snap disruptions, whether it's a false start, delayed game. This offense from Kentucky is not good enough, like Alabama's, to start first and 15, or even backed up because of penalties and special teams, and have to drive the length of the football field. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this crowd impacts Kentucky's offense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how the crowd can kind of play a role. They played a role in each and every game this year. I would expect Saturday night to be no different. I think, you said it in the last segment, not just because those kids were on, but I think offensive line, defensive line. I think everybody expects Hendon Hooker to be Hendon Hooker and the wide receivers to be the wide receivers. Can Tennessee's offensive and defensive line, can they win the battle at the line of scrimmage? If they can do that, then it's an excellent chance for Tennessee to be 8-0, playing another undefeated team, that being the top-ranked Bulldogs of Georgia, 1 week from Saturday down in Athens, a 3:30 kick. When you look around the rest of the league, Alabama still controls its own destiny, but you could say the same thing for LSU. They've got 1 loss in conference, Jason, and those 2 teams will play night game next week in Death Valley.
Oh, let me ask you this, AP. I mean, we've seen Tennessee and Kentucky battle for players, whether the players come from Kentucky or come from Tennessee. The recruiting battles, what kind of implications does this game have as far as recruiting in the 2023 class, 2024 class?
I don't know if any one game determines a kid's recruitment, but I do think that, as you continue the upward trajectory as a program, the more you can win these type games, the better. The more you can look at said player and say, we've won, how many out of how many, it matters. But, listen, kids don't always make decisions based off of tradition or history or any of that stuff. They make them off relationships. So you got to continue to recruit the old-fashioned way. It's still about relationships. Yes, your NIL's involved. If you don't think it is, then you're not paying attention across all of college football. You still have to build relationships. It still comes down to, Kelsey Pope building a relationship with wide receivers, or Rodney Garner building a relationship with defensive linemen. Those things are important. And so, I don't think that necessarily matters win-loss where, whether a kid ends up there or here. But at the same time, you just want to continue to win games, continue to be the cool school, because right now Tennessee very much is the hot team and the cool school for the kids.
That's right, man. That's right. Got to make sure I have my black.
Especially the 24s and 25s, Jason. Not as much as 23. A lot of the hay's in the barn there, but with the 24s and 25s, Tennessee's seeing a lot of momentum.
I'll make sure I have my black on this weekend with my orange. Try to mimic the team a little bit. So I'm looking forward to this weekend, man. Another good edition of Tennessee Prime, my friend.
No doubt about it, Jason. I will let you send us out. We appreciate J.J. Crawford. We appreciate Don Bailey. And we appreciate our great friends at Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com. Jason Swing here, 991 The Sports Animal. Y'all have a great evening. Same time next week.